How you doing guys, Bioinformatics guy here with another video of the series Python for Bioinformatics. In this video we will be talking about reading and writing files in Python. Generally a file is known as something which is stored on the hard disk or CD drive or even floppy disk, which was long time ago. But files in Python is like a portal or a function which provides several methods to read and write the files. Interface is very natural and it's not that difficult. Most of the Python functions consider files as streams. Now, if you don't know what is meant by streams, then you can take the example of this notebook. This is a notebook which is not empty at the moment, but you can open up to a blank page and then you can start writing it over here with a pen. And you can also open the notebook and then you can start reading from there. Now, Python files are just like that, but with some exceptions. So I will talk about the exceptions as we go on. So let's get started. Before we do anything, what we need to do is to get a file that we can read. We can simply go to ncbi, then we can search for the nucleotide database, and then we can search the very famous gene P53, which is a tumor repressor gene and very famous for cancer studies. And now we have to get the FASTA file. Now you can see that this is the sequence over here and this is the in FASTA format. We can download this, but I need multiple sequences in a file. What we can do is we can run blast over here. Just simply click blast. Once you get the results of the blast, yeah, we got the results. So we can select like 8, 9, 10. I'm not checking any of the details here. I'm just going to download the file. You can click download and then FASTA complete sequence. Now we got the file. Let me pull this up to the desktop, paste, and let's create a new Python file. Okay, and then let's start writing the code. Now reading the file in Python is very simple. We can create a new variable and name could be seek, and then we can use this function open, open, simple, and we have to give the name of the file, which is seekdump.txt, and it has to be in the inverted commas. And then there is the second argument, which is the mode. I will talk about it in detail in a few minutes, but currently we can just keep it R, and R means to read. You can run this and you will see that nothing happened. Now what happened is the file was read by this open function and then it's stored in the seek variable. Now we can loop over the seek variable. So for I in seek, then we can simply print I. Now you can see that it has printed everything. It spitted out all of the sequences over there. Okay, and this is like a very basic thing that we have done, but the thing is there is a little problem with this approach, opening the file and reading it this way. Before we do that, let me show you what are the different modes of reading files. Open, then we can go to the official documentation, and over here we will choose this function because we are studying this. Now here's the thing, if you will put R as the mode, then this is going to be reading, which is the default mode. Now we could have simply skipped this R and it would have also worked. And then we have W to write the file, and if there is file already over there, it will create a new file, it will overwrite it. So this is the difference. Like if you have this notebook, it's very difficult to create a new notebook and replace it with the new notebook, but in Python, if you will write W when the file is already there, it will simply create a new one. A is to open the file for writing, and you have to append it at the end of the file. And then we have this binary mode, then these have this text mode, and this is the plus thing. This is very important. You need to take a note of this. If you will add r plus, then it will be for reading as well as for writing. If you will type w plus, then it will be for reading and writing as well. So you can read a few more details about it over here. I will put the link in the description. Now let me tell you what is the basic problem with opening a file in this way. Now if you are just reading the file, it's okay, but when you will have to write something in the file, and when you will open this in this mode W, then there are problems, because once you have opened the file and you are writing something, you have to close it and then you have to save the file. So you have to use a specific function. But the other approach is very simple. You just use while and then it automatically gets closed. I will just comment this out and then we can open it like with open. We will just add the name of the file here, and then we can use this as to just name it as f, or we can say file, and then we can apply the loop for I in file print. See, the same thing happened. It just spitted out everything over here. Now I would recommend you to most of the time use this with open approach rather than using this variable thing. This file is our variable right now. It opens the file and then it stores the information in this file variable. Now there are different functions and methods available for the open, and let's keep discussing one by one. So first we have this read functions, and you can use it by dot notation, and in the brackets you have to mention how much you have to read. This function reads the file by bytes. So if I will write 10, then it will read the 10 bytes, and you also have to print it. Okay, just like that. See, so it has read the first 10 bytes. If you will increase the number, it will start increasing. You can see that here. Here is another function, read lines, which will read all the lines for you. So you can see that print file dot read lines, and then you can run this, and you will see that in the squeeze text we have all of the lines written, and then they are stored in list. So every line is considered as a string and it is stored in a list. So we have a list of strings. Then we have this write function. For the write function, now the default mode is R. Now we have to change this to R plus so that we can write as well. In order to write something in the file, we can simply use file.write, and then we can give it a string that we need to write. So we can write Bioinformatics. Okay, once we run this, we will see some changes that are made in the file. Let's run this and see what happens. So you will see nothing over here, but once you open the file, and then you will see that it has written this bioinformatics at the very beginning of the file. And if you want to write something at the end of the file, then you have to use a different mode, append, because append is like adding at the very end. If we will run this again, then we will reload this, and we can see at the end it has added bioinformatics. Now you can write multiple lines as well, and if you want to add multiple lines, you can create a list, and in that list you can have several things like gc. We will have to use a different function now. It's a file dot write line, and then we have to give it the list. So let's run this and see what happens. Nothing happened over here, but we know that we have to reload the file and see what's happening over there. So we scroll down and you can see that at the end it has written everything over here. Okay, with the basic approach we can only write at the beginning or at the very end of the file, and we cannot make edits any specific positions, but we will talk about this later in the series. And to manipulate the contents of the file, it is often convenient to just read the entire contents and create a list or some of the other data structure, and then you can keep on modifying it, and once you are done with the modifications, then you can write a new file. So in this faster file, let me just grab the original file. We will delete this. We got the new file, and you can see that every file is starting with this greater than sign, and we can use this specific way of the FASTA format to separate out the links. Remember, you know that there is this split function, and what split function does is that if you have a string like this and you use the split function on it, and you just tell this function that you have to split whenever you see this specific character, then see what happens. Let me bring this up. I guess that sounds much better. So if I hit enter, you will see that it has created a list with 1, 2, 3, and 4 different strings, and we have this blank string at the beginning, which is a problem which we will sort out. You have this FASTA file, and we can write a function that will return all the specific sequences in that FASTA file. So let's just define a function. We can comment this out, and so it's going to be def. The function name could be read FASTA strings. Then we have to give it the file name. Okay, now we will use the same with approach, with open file name, and then we can open it as file, and now we have to return something. And what we will return is, we will return a list, and we will use this file dot read, and it will read everything, and then we will split it, and we will split it by this specific character. Then now you remember that there was this first element of the list which was empty string, and in order to get rid of that, we can take a slice of the string. So we will, rather than starting from 0, the first element in the list, we will start from 1 and go on to the end. Okay, and let's try running this, and if we don't see any error, it means that it's good. No errors. Now we can call this function. So we will just copy this and change the name here. Okay, just like that, and then we can simply store it in a variable. We can name it strings, and then we can see the first element of the strings. Now you see that we only got one of the sequence, and we don't have that greater than sign either, because it splitted it. It split on the basis of that. Now still there are some problems with this function. We will fix those problems later on in this series. Now if we just read the file with open function, it returns the entire content of the file, which is not a good way if you are working with very large files. So that's all about reading and writing files in Python. In the next video we will be talking about comprehensions. If you have any questions, you can comment down below, and you can also check the script of this specific video on my GitHub page. You can join our community, which is a Facebook group, and you can also check the article about this on the website, and all of the links are going to be available just below the like button. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you around in the next video.